Lights on for veterans!
There was room for humour at the launch of a campaign designed to help generations of veterans. But homelessness is no laughing matter, and it's why efforts have been stepped up to support those who struggle when they leave the armed forces.
When you have worked and served in the armed forces for most of your working career, they don't know what to do when they come out. Getting back into civil life is a really difficult thing for them to do. They don't know how to do it, and there are people there that can help them just take the first step, the baby step that will get them back into society.
It was the British Foreign Secretary who, on the eve of World War I, spoke of the lights going out across Europe. A century on from the horrors of the trenches, generations of servicemen and women continue to struggle in Civvy Street. And it's why Riverside, one of the UK's largest housing associations, has launched a campaign designed to steer veterans to a place where they can get help.
Issues coming out of the army are not just for World War I and II, they're still an issue today, and having those guys here today just highlighted that issue for everybody. It's a living issue that we're dealing with daily.
People who've been in the armed forces, I'll use the word cosseted, but they are well looked after. It's when they come out they find a very big difference, and Riverside have recognised this, and they're saying, well, hang on, it's time we done something for them.
Riverside currently supports 1,200 veterans a year, and it's an organisation with a mission to ensure that all those who leave the forces know where to come for help if they get into difficulties.
It's not just about housing, it's to make sure that they don't end up jobless, it's to make sure that they're not sitting alone in a flat with no furniture around them, it's to make sure that if they have an illness, that the illness is managed, or if they have an addiction, that their addiction is managed. It's all about quality of life. We see the risks that they take, and we believe that when they leave the armed forces, then we should be giving them something back.
Those already being helped by Riverside range from Second World War veterans to those recently returned from active service in Afghanistan, and their stories are varied.
I left the force. I was medically discharged with post-traumatic stress. And because of the nature of post-traumatic stress, my life pretty much fell apart because of that, leaving me with very little. I then found myself on the street. I found myself with a drinking problem. I was abusing alcohol at the time, and I needed help. And if it wasn't for the fact that when I did leave the forces, I was told to put this phone number in my mobile phone, if I hadn't of, I don't really know what would have happened.
Personally, myself, I had PTSD, which took 6 years to trigger. So I've been out of the army 6 years before I had quite a major breakdown.
I chose the place, Southlands Court, as being the best because it was opposite the cricket ground, and I used to play cricket for Runcorn, and there was still the bar there, and I could always nip across the road for a crafty pint if I wanted one.
I've been back at the Beacon since May this year. I've done 4 courses, so yeah, things are looking up and my life's starting to get positive again. Plan for the future is eventually to move back down to Cheshire, maybe look at starting my own business or getting back into full-time employment.
Those behind the online campaign want to switch on relatives and friends of ex-servicemen and the wider public. The message, if you know a veteran in difficulty, point them towards #LightsOnForVeterans. It could turn their lives around.
2-3 years ago, I had no life prospects at the time. It was rock bottom, absolute rock bottom, and now sky's the limit.